Kia ora everyone and welcome back to Civilization 6. Today I'm breaking down my top 5 unique units in the game. These units, I guarantee you're not going to want to overlook them. I'm going to introduce you to some fan favorites, but also some that you probably haven't had a lot of experience with before. So without any further ado, let's jump straight in. And in no particular order, I'm going to start with the Ottomans. And I'm going to start with this one here, the Janissary. Let me tell you why. So, this unit replaces the musketman and requires 10 niter to train. It was, of course, introduced into the game with Gathering Storm, with the addition of Suleiman with the Ottomans. Now, what does it do? Well, normally, this kind of unit, the musketman, would have plus 5 combat strength versus anti-cavalry, right? What does this one do that's special? Well, for starters, it starts with a free promotion. Love to see it. Next up, it can only be trained in cities with a 2 population or more, and if it's trained in a city that was founded by the Ottomans, it actually takes away 1 population from the city. You'll see here, to train a Janissary, a city must have a population of at least 2, and if it's trained in one of your cities, you lose a pop. That is a minor nerf to the unit in comparison to the normal musketman. But let me tell you why I don't think that matters. Because the Janissary has a few special traits to it. Firstly, it requires half the production of a normal musketman, down from 240 to 120. That makes this guy feel pretty tough, pretty strong. Combine that with the fact that it has a slightly higher combat strength, 60 up from 55, and you've got yourself a unit that can be produced incredibly quickly, even if you're building it in your own cities. The fact that it requires half the production is actually an okay trade-off for 1 pop. Now, it gets even better, of course, because if you build them in conquered cities, using them to their advantage and building on what the Ottomans do best, which is sieging cities, right? They have a plus 50% production towards siege units. All siege units gain plus 5 combat strength against district defenses. Conquered cities don't lose pop, and cities not founded by the Ottomans gain plus 1 amenity and loyalty per turn. You can see that synergizes really, really well with everything that the Ottomans put down, including the fact that you get an extra governor title when gunpowder is researched. That's another great synergy that will provide you with the loyalty that you need to take cities very quickly and very aggressively with this unique musketman, and that is why the Ottomans squeeze in and make it into my number 5 slot for this video as my 5th favorite unique unit in the game. Now, the next one shouldn't come as a surprise to you, but I do really need to share it with you because this unit is insane, and if you're looking to play for early, aggressive, domination, rush kind of game styles, you're going to want to look no further than the chief bro himself. It's Gilgamesh. Why the WARCART? Let me tell you about the WARCART. There is almost no downside to the WARCART. This unit is exclusively better than the heavy cavalry it replaces, and I already love the ancient era heavy cavalry. That's the heavy chariot. This thing is even better still. So why? Well, the Sumerian unique ancient era cart is stronger than all of the other starting units in the game. Montezuma does challenge it slightly with his warrior, but it is stronger than all the rest. It has no penalties against anti-cavalry units. It's a cavalry unit, but it doesn't suffer the normal anti-cavalry penalties that you might suffer if you're coming up against, say, a spearman. So you have the WARCART, you have no weaknesses. It also has 4 movement, that's up 1 from the default of 3, when starting in open terrain, i.e. no woods or rainforests. Combine that with the fact that it ignores enemy zone of control, you're left with the strongest aggressive unit in the game. A player who starts building these from the beginning of their game will be able to successfully conquer, potentially even on upwards to immortal, maybe even deity difficulty, an enemy city. I would say by around turn 30 or 40, you can be, anyway, taking out your opponents. And also, of course, it's worth acknowledging that this synergizes quite well with everything else that Gilgamesh puts down, right? When you capture Barbarian Outposts, you receive tribal village reward in addition to the normal gold. You pay half the usual cost to live your city-state units, and when you're at war with a common foe, you have these combat strength bonuses too. Everything combines to a very early, aggressive start with Gilgamesh, and the WARCART is, without a doubt, one of the strongest, if not the strongest, starting unit in the game, and that is why it makes it into my top 5. Coming in the third slot is a unit heralded by the noobs, but don't let that fool you, okay? Just because it's a Nubian unit doesn't mean it's a terrible unit. I am, of course, talking about the unique Nubian archer. That's the Pitati archer. Here we are. Sorry, Animator, it took me a while to find you. So, why is this archer better than the rest? Well, like any normal archers, it does suffer against district defenses. However, have a look at this thing. Ancient era unit that replaces the archer. Stronger than the archer with extra movement, upgrades into crossbow. That doesn't sound particularly overwhelming in-game, in the in-game text, but let me tell you what it actually does behind the scenes. It has +2 combat strength, up to 17 from 15. It has +5 range strength, up from 25 to 30, and 1 additional movement. That brings it up to 3 movement. It does cost an extra 10 production to build. That's up to 70 from 60. However, as Nubia, you do receive +30% of production towards ranged units. That helps to offset that negative. There is no negative aspect to the Pitati Archer. Also, all ranged units gain +50% combat experience. That helps you really nicely because you'll earn your promotions much faster. What you can do then is get yourself toward the Elite Guard promotion, and this unit becomes amazing. More amazing than it already is to begin with. Okay, this is an incredibly powerful unit. The archer is already outstanding. Whether you're playing an aggressive game, looking to rush down your opponents, or a defensive game, the archer is probably the #1 unit you'll want to build if you're not playing as Gilgamesh and you've got the WARCARTs, obviously, because it's so versatile. The Nubian archers are even more versatile still. They move further, they attack stronger, you can build them relatively quickly thanks to your bonuses. You'll have no trouble attacking or defending as Nubia, and that's why I've put it in at my #3 slot, because it takes a fantastic unit, the archer, and makes it even better still. In the second slot, I'm going to jump down to none other than Trajan himself, and we're going to talk, of course, about the Roman Legion. Now, again, here, the in-game text does not do this unit justice. So here you can see it says, it's a Roman unique classical era melee unit that replaces the swordsman. It can build a fort. Doesn't sound particularly exciting, does it? But let me tell you what it actually does. So it costs 10 iron since Gathering Storm. And it does have a higher production cost than the unit it replaces, which is the swordsman, of course, up from 90 to 110. However, it does have +5 combat strength over the normal swordsman, bringing it up to a whopping 40. A whopping 40 combat strength. That's fantastic. The swordsman is already one of the best units in the game, and now it's even stronger still. But it doesn't stop there. It has 1 build charge, okay? See how it says can build fort? What that means is, the Legion spawns with a build charge. You can choose to build a Roman fort, which is an upgrade on the normal fort. The Legion can build it, so what you can do is take a city and then quickly build a fort, making it much easier to defend that city. Your other option with the build charge is that you can clear terrain. You can clear forests. What you can do is effectively snowball Legion into Legion into Legion into Legion, by building a legion, sending it to a forest, and chopping that forest down. While it's going to the forest and chopping it down, you're building another legion in your city. Therefore, the production that you gain from clearing a forest with the first legion builds the second one. And then the second one goes out to a forest and chops that down. And that gives you a production bonus for your third legion, and so on and so forth. And that is why there's this hidden strategy with the legions here. The in-game tooltip text gives you no information here on the screen, but I assure you the Roman Legion is an absolutely fantastic unit thanks to its build charge and its overall strength over the swordsman, which is already an outstanding melee unit in the game. I can't stress that enough. These Roman legions are very strong, and I think you can have real fun snowballing them, and quickly, of course, taking down your opponent in that really crucial era of the game as well, that sort of early to mid game. Very strong. I can't recommend it enough. In my final slot, we're going to pop up to none other than Peter the Great and talk about the Russian Cossack, okay? Historically, a very important military unit, and it's just the same in Civilization 6. Of course, part of the base game as well, so everybody can play it, which is always fun. Since Gathering Storm Up expansion, it requires 10 horses to train. Its common ability as a light cavalry, it replaces the cavalry, and ignores enemy zone of control. Okay, so what does it do special? Well, let's read what the in-game text tells us. It's a Russian unique industrial area unit, replaces cavalry, has +5 combat strength when fighting in or adjacent to home territory, which synergizes well with Russia's massive home territory. It can move after attacking if movement points remain. Cool. So, what did we actually just read? Basically, we just read, it's just like the normal cavalry, which is already a great unit. It does cost slightly more to produce, which it doesn't tell you here. It's up from 330 to 340 production, so it's very minor, and your innate production bonuses will make up for that, so I wouldn't stress. It has +5 combat strength, as we've discussed, but crucially, +5 combat strength when fighting in or next to home territory, and it can move after attacking. That allows you, and that is the most important point of all, because it allows you to jump in, fight, and jump out. Jump in, fight, and jump out. Combo that with your additional movement, with your additional combat strength, and this unit, while there's no super secret gamification strategy like there is with the Roman legions, where you can use one to build the next and one to build the next, the Russian Cossack is extremely strong. Extremely strong, okay? Back in Civ 5, all mounted and armoured units had the ability to do this. However, in Civ 6, it is really unique just to the Cossack, and I believe the Vietnamese unique unit can move and attack as well. But for the most part, those are the only unique ones that could do it. Again, like I say, couple it with the fact that Russians can easily customize their religion as well to get the Crusader belief. You can get a really nice domination victory here. Thank you so much for watching and joining me as I went through my top 5 unique units in Civilization 6. We are pushing really hard and fast towards the 2K subscriber mark, so if you wouldn't mind dropping a sub, I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye, and take care.